My sort of corporate journey began as an engineer, really, in product creation companies. So I first worked for General Motors, and I had the opportunity to go overseas with General Motors to Shanghai and to essentially teach Chinese engineers how to build cars. It was sort of in that season that I realized I really loved business. I loved the international piece. I loved the multicultural element, but I really didn't care about building cars. I had the opportunity to begin working with the Burmese refugees here in Boise, and as I worked with them, it was like being at home. It was so great to be back with an international population that brought so much to the table. But I was actually really startled by the skills and talents that these individuals had, and yet the lack of opportunities they had to get into sustainable employment here in the U.S. And we thought, well, let's try this idea. There's this gap between the skills they have and the jobs out there. What if we created, an industry-wide sort of job and language skills model that helped them get from unemployed and at risk to a healthy, sustainable employment position that could, take their families one step closer to really thriving and being self-sufficient in the community.
We teach all of our classes experientially, again, because we know the importance of retaining language for refugees to be successful in this country. The majority of the times they lose their job or can't get jobs is because they're not able to communicate in our language. Good. We'll do one more.
Your telephone number.
What is my telephone number? They have great educational background, great knowledge, and that's where we want to help them be able to show their knowledge and educational background. If somebody asks them to do something and they're able to respond correctly, again, that is very effective for their employment purposes. One of the really critical pieces of experiential education is that it builds self-confidence and self-esteem, because people can show and demonstrate what they know without being able to say it.
Folding a hand towel.
Okay, so do we remember how to fold the
Given a time frame of 8 months to learn a language competently is a great challenge for any one of us, let alone the challenges that refugees already come here with. What does one way mean?
One way. One way.
I mean, do not come this way.
One way.
So pretty soon after we started the training program, I was approached about some land. I was offered some land. And I said, no, we're busy actually doing job and language training. We don't need land. We're not going to farm. We're not going to grow. It wasn't long after that I met this brilliant, wonderful man named Devi, who is just a tremendous leader in the Bhutanese community. He had newly arrived in the U.S. He had been here about 4 or 5 months at the point I met him, was still unemployed, looking for what was his sort of next step. He had been one of the government's top sort of lead agricultural research individuals in the community. He managed hundreds of acres of farms. He had been growing his whole life and teaching others to grow his whole life. So I said, well, let me think about it. So I spent some time kind of thinking, praying about, there's this land, there's this guy, we're doing this training, does this fit? And so after train, shortly after came Grow.
When I came to the Common Ground or the Momentum Group, and we started working here, the land was totally barren. We cleared everything else. And in the first year, we sold a share for the share customers, 4 by 8 feet of land. And the next year, we thought we sell a share, we do produce and give them pick up every week. They come here, pick up their shares, they help us working in the garden, they learn, and they were interested to learn many things about agriculture. My hobby is to help other people. Create Common Good has a training program which helps refugees from different places coming, working here. The environment is new to them here, and if I work here, I can help these people to learn about agriculture.
I've always had a passion for sustainable agriculture and for food, and also for engaging in dialogue with other cultures, and also bringing that culture into this culture. And out here in Southeast Boise, There hasn't been a lot of refugee presence. In fact, a lot of people come to us and they're like, "What's a refugee? I don't even know." And they didn't know that we're a Tier 1 city, that we receive 1,000 to 1,500 refugees each and every year. I think my life has been changed and enriched by knowing these folks that we work with. Their stories are incredibly powerful. They've been through a lot, and so they just have a lot to share and a lot to give.
CREATE is kind of this unique, interesting space between Grow and Stir, because it's a place that we can take what's in our hand at the farms, but also take the talent within Stir and blend it into something that consumers can find on the shelf, say at a Whole Foods or at a farmer's market.
I spent my earlier years really driven to the stage where I would compete as much as possible and only to win, and really it was really all about myself and not about anyone else. And it wasn't until things fell into place that I realised that this was really my whole calling, and all my life I was really being trained for these moments. Create Common Good is an amazing organisation. They're an organisation that really care for the individual, and they're not. It's not an organisation based on numbers. They actually genuinely want to get refugees placed in jobs. We don't look at them as people or numbers. We look at them as family, and take it quite personally if they're going through hardships. As a chef, I know what these guys need. If I was an employer, I know what I'd want them to have. So that's what I do. I lift the bar and I train them with exactly what I'm going to need so that they can operate in a kitchen, whether it be a kitchen hand, a line chef, a prep chef. Stir's an amazing program that brings together all those elements of community, and what we're doing at the moment is we're doing upscale dinner parties right around Boise, where we are bringing a better than restaurant experience to people's lounge rooms, to the corporate world, just letting them know just what excellence refugees can achieve when you really believe. And it's not only a great food experience, but it becomes a whole lot more. It's a cultural experience, an experience that makes you walk away and think about, what is it that I can do to help these people? Life is so very short. And I look at Awat and just what's happened in his life because I've invested a little bit of time.
I learned from Brent many skills about cooking, so I haven't any problem at this time. I can work because I have skills for cooking, and I hope so to become chef like Brent. Create Common Good they're doing for me is change in my life.
I encourage everybody out there to use their gifts and talents and just see what happens when you step out of that comfort zone. You may even transform someone's life.
So the YMCA is between 10th and 11th Street.
I'm asking you to really join the journey, join the adventure, be part of the Create Common Good dream, be part of transforming lives, transforming communities around the world.
Oh, it's hot today, huh?